What's up, shitheads? Welcome back. We are about to cover part 1 of day 3 in court for the Josh Duggar trial. So let's get started. And with that, I'm giving my disclaimer that this is not going to be a 100% word for word accurate representation of everything that was said in court today. Rather, this is me reading to you guys directly from my notes that I took as fast as humanly possible to the best of my ability. Let's go. Picking up where we left off from day 2, Futrell from the Department of Justice is on the witness stand and he is being questioned by the prosecution. Was Covenant Eyes installed on the Linux partition? No. May 14th, 15th, and 16th, uTorrent was used for what? To download images and videos and proof that they were played. Where did you find the child pornography? Deleted in a file system, we could only recover thumbnails from an unallocated space. Is this common in these cases? Yes, they usually have a collection. We call it the Netflix effect. My kids used to have VHS, then DVD, but with streaming, people don't have to keep it. When it's streaming, it's just there. Offenders are aware that it's dangerous to keep, so they delete. Did you investigate the possibility that people outside the computer could have done this? Yes, using uTorrent is being run visible, not something you do virtually. Plus, they were downloaded, then viewed on a different application. Someone needs to be there. Again, you have to be there to boot the Linux partition. You can't do that remotely. Do you typically look for remote access in these cases? Yes, remote access is common, so I typically do, and here I did. Typically, with law enforcement, objection, speculation, Judge Brooks says that he needs to lay a foundation and tells him how to do it under 701 or to establish 702. Mr. Futrell, how do you know to look for remote access? Just very familiar with this, how they use it, and he goes into more very technical explanations. Would you advise other agents to do this? Yes. What else did you forensically look at? The MacBook. Government's Exhibit 61, and these are print screens made by the witness. They are admitted and published. Sir, can you explain this first page? And it's basically, when you open up a computer, you know you have the login, the user, the password. Then they go to the next one, and it's the background of the computer, which is a picture of Josh and Anna. He then starts to go over every single screenshot that he made when he was doing his forensic analysis of this computer. So we've got one picture, and it shows that it's November 2nd, 12:30 p.m. That's just when he was viewing this. They then show another screen that has Finder icons so that you can see all of the installed applications on the computer. They then change that to thumbnail view to be easier to see, and he starts discussing all of the different applications on the Mac. Is this what you talked about yesterday when you said the Linux partition user made them thumbnails? Yes. Next, they pull up another screenshot, and it is a picture of the VLC program, and they say that it is the same one that was on the Linux partition side of the HP computer. After seeing the VLC application, he then said he went to see what was being played in the VLC application. He then pulls up another image, and it's saved passwords for different things like Google Chrome, and he was looking for applications with passwords like Intel 1988 from the Linux partition password. He did use that password for a few different things. Did you find any personal accounts with the password Intel 1988? Yes, a bank account. They then show another image of the operating system, and then they go to user settings and see all of those. They next pull up another screenshot and they start to discuss how with Mac, it allows you to make a backup copy. So he found a full backup copy of Josh's iPhone 8. Law enforcement didn't seize an iPhone 8, but since we have a copy here, I am going to search it. They then talk about QBitTorrent and the Tor browser data on the computer, so there's proof that they had been previously downloaded. To be clear, they had both been installed. Yes. They pull up another screen, and it's where the address book is on the computer, and you see that the first name is Anna Duggar. This is clearly Josh's computer, and this is clearly Josh Duggar's contact list. He then pulls up the notes in Apple, and he says that there are lots and lots of notes, and he wanted to filter them, so he searched for notes that included Intel 1988, and there were 5. There was a password for an email, password for an electric account, login information, a Chase Quick Pay, and an AT&T. So he was using Intel 1988 for 5 different things, and those were the 5 different things. He used Intel 1988 password for a few years. He then pulls up another screen, and it's evidence that a person has used the torrent program to download videos, and they are children's movies. Did you extract the Apple Notes? Yes. They then show Government's Exhibit 63, which is proof that Josh Duggar's RVest password, which is a bank account, was Intel 1988. Did you find anything else that proved he used the password Intel 1988? Yes. Government's Exhibit 64. And this is an email, and it's from February 13th, 2014, and it's joshuaduggar@me.com, showing the password as Intel 1988. They then pull up an email message, and it's Josh emailing himself at 2 different emails with the same password. You found QBitTorrent. Did you find any QBitTorrent on the Mac? Yes, I found 4. Government's Exhibit 66, and it shows that it was downloaded on April 14th, 2017 and January 17th, 2017. And they show you this list of the downloaded videos, and it's the 3 Amigos. Basically, it was Hollywood movies. Is it fair to say that the defendant used 2 different programs to download? Yes, Transmission and QTorrent. Government's Exhibit 69 and 70, and it's 2 emails. And these are the 2 emails from Covenant Eyes to his accountability partner, Anna Duggar. One email is an accountability report sent to Anna on Saturday, April 22nd, 2017. And this is an alert that he looked at mature teen. And what I mean is that he looked at mature teen content. And the file was titled Looks Good. The next one is for web searches where the user went to Google to search and download a torrent onto the Mac. It was rated M and blocked from being downloaded. That search was made Saturday, April 15th, 2017. The next image that they show is for something with the title fmovies.se viewed on Safari. And Google.com flagged this. So through Covenant Eyes, Google flagged something, and that something was the attempted download of a torrent onto the Mac on April 15th at 12:13 a.m. What was flagged? The uTorrent download. He attempted to download it 3 different times. www.utorrent.com. The user of the Mac was trying to get the uTorrent on top of BitTorrent and the transmission that he already had. They then display another accountability report from May 6th to May 13th of 2017, and with this report, It lists Instagram as well as Twitter as an issue for mature content. And then on May 9th, he tried to download a uTorrent. Josh Duggar's iPhone 8 backup. What info were you looking for? The identity of the iPhone owner. EXIF information has GPS locations for every photo. Exhibit 71. Judge, can we talk briefly? The white noise then goes up so that we can hear their sidebar once the meeting is over. Do you commonly use info from images in investigations? Yes. Why? To get identity and GPS locations. Do you look at that info and make sure that it's correct? Yes, I can get GPS and then check it with the phone. Government's Exhibit 71 has the objection noted, but it is still received into evidence. It is a picture of an old black truck from the iPhone 8 backup. This GPS is at the car lot, and this is the confirmation. And if you look at the picture, it's an old black Chevy truck, and to the side of it, it shows the info about the image being taken and a map of where the photo was taken. On May 11th at 5:58 p.m., the defendant's iPhone was at the car lot. Another pic was taken at 5:59 p.m. on the same iPhone 8 at the car lot. Government's Exhibit 28, page 12. It's a picture with the proof that the Ubuntu program was downloaded at the car lot. It was downloaded at 5:47, so roughly 10 minutes later, the pic was taken. Government's Exhibit 72. These are texts that were sent and received on May 11th. They display the text messages on the screen for us to see. One set of text messages is between Josh Duggar and Josh Williams' mother, and they are talking about whether or not Josh still has this car, and he says he doesn't, but he sends back a picture. This is Josh's mom. I have people asking about the Chevy. Do you still have it? No, but I have a black one for $2,200. They then pull up another picture, and it's two more pictures of the inside of the car. The defense wants to note the same objections. Judge Brooks says, court's ruling is the same. Let me see counsel at the bench. After the sidebar, government's exhibits 73 through 81 are presented. One is a picture of a scale, and it has all of the EXIF information, including the map of where the picture was taken, to the side. The picture of the scale was taken on May 13th, 2019 at 3:06 p.m. The scale says 1 pound, 5.7 ounces. How long after the Linux partition was downloaded was this picture taken? 1:52 to 3:06, so about an hour-ish. They then show Government's Exhibit 74, and it's a picture that was taken on Josh's phone, and it looks like it's oil on cement, and you can see just a partial of someone's foot wearing a gray Croc shoe. This picture was taken May 14th at 11:31 a.m. They then display another picture which looks like a left foot in a Croc closer to the oil stain on the cement, as well as a picture of a Volkswagen. At 4:20 p.m., there is a picture of the HP computer watching a YouTube video. And when you zoom in, you can see the reflection of someone wearing a red hat with a logo on it. They ask, is there a reflection? Yes, it's someone wearing a red hat associated with the car lot. And just for you guys visual, he literally took a picture of this computer screen showing a YouTube video, and maybe you wouldn't notice it at first, but the second you see it, you can clear as day see it is a man wearing a hat, and it is very, very clear what the hat is, what it looks like, and what logo is on the front of the hat, which is one of the car lots. Next, they display another image, and it features a white Ford pickup truck, and this picture was taken at 6:01 p.m. on May 14th. Government's Exhibit 39 is files on his Linux partition, and it was downloaded at 5:48 p.m. These were the videos of the 7 and 9-year-old girl being raped. Government's Exhibit 74. How long after these were downloaded was this image taken? Approximately 30 minutes. It was downloaded at 5:30 and the picture was taken at 6:01. At 6:07, there's a picture taken at the car lot. At 8:14 p.m., there's another picture taken, and it is not taken at the car lot, it is taken at Lowe's. It's a picture of Anna looking at doors at Lowe's. And then there's another picture, and it's a selfie taken by Josh of him and Anna, and in that selfie, he is wearing the exact same hat that was caught in the reflection of the HP computer screen at the time the child pornography was being downloaded on that HP computer. Government's Exhibit 75 is a picture of text messages where Josh sends a text message that says, "Got stuck here at the car lot," and that was sent at 4:49 p.m. Government's Exhibit 34 is EXIF info for large thumbnail images. These are at 5:11 p.m. on May 14th. These are the storyboards for child pornography on the Linux partition. Someone had to open them to get the thumbnail to be created. It was made 20 minutes after that text message was sent. At 5:48 p.m., a text message was sent by Josh that said, "I have your Versa for Carlin. I'm at the car lot." On May 14th at 5:41, another text message was sent, and the download was made 7 minutes later. The undercover agent picked up this download, so that's how the undercover agent got the flag for the downloaded images. Then, on May 15th at 3:20, just east of the car lot, Josh took a picture of a fire truck. At 5:47 p.m., a picture was taken at the car lot. Someone took a pic of a pesticide. Next up is Government Exhibit 39. This is a list of the downloads with the date and their name. There was a picture taken, and they say this picture, at 5:47 p.m. At 5:20, a download was made. At 5:32, a download was made. At 5:31, the Marissa file was downloaded. How long after the Marissa file was downloaded was this picture taken? One was at 5:41 and one was at 5:47. May 15th, 2019 at 6:51 p.m., the location is at the car lot. They then show a picture of 2 sticky notes that are on a desk, and the way the picture is taken, you can see the 2 sticky notes on top of the desk, but you can also see down to the floor, and you can see a glimpse of the same gray Croc shoe. They then show Exhibit 77. These are text messages from May 15th, 2019. The first was at 11:15 a.m. "I'm at my car lot now. You can come by." This text was sent to David Tyler. 14-year-old Suck and Fuck was downloaded at 11:30. The text message, "I'm here at the car lot," was sent at 11:16 a.m. The download was made at 11:35 a.m., so that's roughly 25 minutes apart. At 11:43, a text is sent that says, "Okay, thanks man, holler at me in a little bit." Government's Exhibit 34, page 2. It's EXIF info from the thumbnails. The bottom 3 rows show movies. They discuss how this shows about navigating the computer and how at 11:43 you have one thing going on, at 11:50 you have a download going on, so that's 7 minutes apart. They then show an exhibit with text messages. "Pray for Mike on 4/12. He had a bike accident. I helped stabilize him." The pic was taken and the wreck was outside of the car lot. At 5:08 p.m. on May 15th, a text message was sent that read, "I'll be here until 6 p.m. There were 5 things downloaded between 5 and 6 on May 15th. The text, "I'll be here until 6. Objection, rephrase. The text said, "I'll be here until 6 or so," and the download on the Linux partition was approximately 15 to 20 minutes later. Page 5 of Government's Exhibit 77. At 5:58 p.m., the text was sent that said, "Still here, have customers here." Government's Exhibit 2 is shown with the download summary for the Marissa file by Detective Calmer. This happened at 6 p.m., so basically the exact same time the text message, "Still here, have customers here," was sent. Government's Exhibit 78 and Government's Exhibit 34 are then discussed. May 16th, 11:35 a.m. at the car lot, you have the picture of the sticky notes taken. Then you have this EXIF info for the Linux partition, pussy pounded, test.abi, and there isn't more to the list. At 11:33 a.m., pedo mom, the thumbnail file, was created, and that was 2 minutes before the picture was taken. Josh Duggar takes pics at the car lot of notes with his foot the same time as the download. Note that the postage notes that are pictured are at the desk with the HP computer in question. Government's Exhibit 80. It's a picture and it's a selfie of Josh, taken June 22nd, 2019 at 4:47 p.m. at the car lot. Then there's another selfie of Josh Duggar at the car lot alone. Government's Exhibit 81. It's a text message. It says at 1:23, "I'll connect you with a friend." At 1:24, there's another one. And then at 1:25, "He knows where to buy it in Germany." Then another text message at 1:25, "He is at my car lot now. We're talking about you." Government's Exhibit 30 is shown. Print screens of the Linux partition, and they show the document made at 12:08 p.m. and edited for approximately 10 minutes. The sales agent on the document being edited is Josh Duggar. 125 verse 1228 means that those were done about an hour apart. We then take a quick recess while the defense and prosecution go over some objections with evidence, and I assure you it's not relevant. You don't need to know all of that. Did you review any other devices in this case? Yes, an iPhone. What did you learn? Different applications on the device. On the iPhone 11, there was a TorSec version on the phone, and TorSec is an application version for an iPhone. Government's Exhibit 83. This is a 4-page exhibit of TorSec URLs and their titles that have been redacted, but otherwise accurate. They then post this up. They have redacted the TorSec information as far as the names of the URLs. October 16th, 2019, the user was browsing the website on Tor. This isn't all of it, but it's some of it. Then there are questions about the URLs. Since they can't say what they are, they're going to question the witness about what the URLs are without posting them up. These URLs are not car or work related. No, the URLs are porn. 319 is a session duration for the TorSec on the iPhone 11. October 16th, 17th, 19th, 21, 22nd, the 30th, November 2nd, November 7th, and November 8th of 2019. Do you know what happened November 8th in this case? Yes, Homeland Security served the search warrant. How many devices did you examine? The iPhone 8, the HP computer, the Mac laptop, and the iPhone 11. Did you create summaries of this? Yes. Government's Exhibit 85 is then handed to the witness. It's a timeline of the evidence. It's 4 pages. The first page has May 11th, 14th, and 15th. The second page has the 16th and 22nd. Why is May 11th significant? The Ubuntu program was downloaded and pictures were taken. May 13th, Ubuntu is installed at 1:52 p.m. At 2:03, the Tor browser is installed and bookmarks were made. Then pics were taken. On May 14th, at 4:14, there's an iPhone pic. At 4:20, there's the picture of the HP computer. At 4:29, the text "stuck here" was sent. At 4:58, the candle bookmark with the Tor was created. At 5:05, there was a file download with Tor on the Linux partition side of the computer. At 5:11, there is a webcam collection viewed. At 5:28, there is a movie downloaded. At 5:38, there is a movie downloaded on the Linux partition side. At 5:41, hidden wiki bookmark was made. At 5:42, the Literock detective got the hit. At 5:48, a text message was sent. At 5:49, the text message that said, "At my car lot," was sent. At 6:04, a picture was taken at the car lot. At 6:07, another picture was taken. And at 8:14, the selfie with Anna at Lowe's in the red hat was taken. Moving on to the next page. At 11:15, 14-year-old Suck and Fuck was downloaded. At 11:40, Tor was downloaded onto the Linux partition. At 11:41, the Pussy Pounded was downloaded, and the thumbnail was created. Again, that means it was clicked and viewed. At 3:20, a photo was taken. At 3:38, the picture of the accident was taken at the car lot, and the text "Praying for Mark" was sent. At 5:22, the Play Toy Sweetie was downloaded. At 5:30, the torrent was downloaded again. At 5:32, there's a video downloaded. At 5:41, the Marissa file was downloaded. At 5:58, a message was sent saying, "I'm at the car lot." And then at 6:51, the iPhone takes a picture in the car lot's office. At 11:22-ish, Pedo Mom was downloaded. At 11:35, the phone takes a picture in the office. At 4:47, there's a picture of Josh at the car lot. Josh Duggar is present at the car lot every single time there was a download at the car lot. Pass the witness, Your Honor. So now this is going to be the defense questioning the witness. You are a full-time employee for the Department of Justice. Yes, 100% of your job is helping prosecuting attorneys. I certainly help prosecuting attorneys and law enforcement officers. You've never worked outside of the government. Nope. You have a full team. Yes. You do 30 cases a year. I think 100. So you have 100% of the things you need to get it right. I wish we are a government agency, so we do lack some resources. In every case, we could do more, but we can't. Here, we did all we could. You said, undercover officer. Yes, I forgot her last name. That was so rude of me. I'm sorry. Your section, so to speak, at the DOJ, your team wasn't involved in this case during the search warrant. No, you did not seize any of these items. Correct. You are only seeing the forensic copy of these items, not the actual items themselves. Yes, by having access to images, you can go back and re-examine. Yes, and then he gives a big technical spiel, but the basic answer is yes. Without the image and the device to create the image, you can't do anything. You can seize everything, right? Well, might have been 20 years ago, but now we try to be responsible and get what is relevant to control the impact of harm done here. When I clear items, there have definitely been items that I have left behind. And basically, long story short, he says, if you're doing a bust on a house and there's a little kid on the computer doing homework and that computer is cleared of any forensic evidence, there's no point in taking that computer away from the kid doing his homework. Items can be hidden on devices. Yes. The witness then says that he can see stuff that others can't see. So when he's discussing clearing stuff on the scene, where it may seem like, he's just looking at it with his hands, he actually knows how to look for things and find things that normal people like us would have no clue how to find. To be clear, you aren't looking at every image. No, we do our best. Great answer, but he talks way too fast and I couldn't catch it all, so I caught no, we do our best, and then he went way too fast for me to catch up, so I apologize. You were not involved in seizing. No, certainly, but don't elaborate. Just answer my question, please. The defense then asks about some of the tools that he uses, and he says most of the tools that he uses are available to the public, but they do have special tools too that are just for law enforcement. Are you certified? I was, but it's been since 2000, but it's, I've been doing this for 30 years. FTK, are you certified in it? No. Cellbrite? No, but I have employees that do that. You testified about EXIF data? Yes. What tool were you using for mapping the images and putting the time on them? Windows 10 on the computer. That you said just minutes ago was not a legal tool. Correct. Is your goal to help the government? Yes. Why is it your job to secure an indictment, not to clear a defendant? That's a great question, and he gives a very long explanation, but basically he says it would be a waste of time to not target the information that is needed in a case. So this is a business decision. We are trying to work on as many cases as possible, but you're limited to what is seized in a case. Yes, you said a typical case can have 30 to 40 items. How many were in this case? The desktop computer, the laptop, the USB, some SD cards, and the 2 cell phones. But you said some were not relevant. True, they weren't relevant to child pornography. The defense then points out that Agent Kennedy that just testified is under him. Devices seized include Apple products. Correct. 2. You testified the 2 are personal devices. Yes, it's fair to say that. On those, was there any forensic trace on any of those devices? No. If there was, you would find it. Yes. You could find it even if it was deleted. Yes, but also could have been wiped. I have access to the images, but it's not a perfect image. Is there proof when you wipe a device? No, there is no way to determine that it was wiped. So you didn't find evidence of a wipe on these days. Correct. Forensic science is a science. Well, some say it's an art, some say it's a science. I'm not going to debate this with you. Not about guesswork. It's about following the evidence. Correct? Oracle software was used to recreate those screenshots even though it doesn't say that on the shots. Correct? You are not connected to the internet. No. You are also not installing software. Well, you have to install software so that it can read the device. Oracle VirtualBox is to demonstrate to the jurors, and it doesn't help me forensically, but it just makes it to where I can put it in a way that is more explainable to a jury. And I'm paraphrasing there. Other than Oracle, are you installing any other software? No. You are not updating or modifying anything? No. And I'm paraphrasing here, but he basically says, because if you did, it would ruin the integrity of the case. Well, that depends. When installing Oracle, are you using the internet? How are you installing Oracle? And he gives a very long and very detailed and very intelligently worded explanation, but I'm going to dumb it down for you guys. He basically says he starts with an image and then he accesses the data so that he can convert it into a raw format, and then he plugs it in so that the raw image can be viewed and used, and then Oracle can read that, and then he configures it, and it's a big long thing, but you get what I'm saying. The devices means all virtual devices, but you've never literally touched any of these devices. Correct. The first device was the HP desktop computer seized at Wholesale Motors Company. Correct. The desktop has to be plugged into a wall. It is not portable. Yes. You testified about the Windows side and the Linux partition side. Yes. There then is this discussion about how it's 1,000 gigabyte hard drive and the Linux partition wasn't 900 gigabytes of it. The Linux partition was only 10 gigabytes of it. So whomever downloaded the Linux partition chose for it to be only a small storage. Based on the Windows side, it was clearly a business software. Yes. You are familiar with Fraser. Yes, it's an application for selling cars. It's a car lot software. So for every time you buy or sell a car, yes. Lots of paperwork, yes. Fraser auto-generates these forms, correct. You saw that, correct. There was no trace of child pornography on the Windows side of the HP computer or Josh Duggar's personal devices. Yes. Then he brings up the router and he displays Exhibit 25, which is a picture of the router on the window sill. The router itself interacts with the computer. Yes. What point does a router serve? Internet goes into the router, its wired or unwired connection, and all devices connected to it will have the same IP address if they are on the same router. So multiple devices can connect to the router and they would have the same IP address. Correct. IP doesn't identify a specific device. It does. It's specific to the router, not to the device. If we all logged into the Wi-Fi here today in this courtroom, we would all be on the same IP address. Yes. You have never done any forensics on the router. Correct. Because it was never seized. Law enforcement officers typically don't take routers. The router would tell us what devices were on it, and then the witnesses had enough, and he says, "You're being misleading. A router will say this phone wants to connect, so it gives an internal IP address so that if the same phone comes near that router, it will save the device so it knows to let that person back on." How long did the router store information? I don't know. Because you never seized it or looked at the router, correct? MAC identifies specific devices. Correct, it uniquely identifies devices. The router keeps records of MAC addresses, right? Yes. So when it comes to tracking a device, this MAC address would be valuable. That depends. Tell the jury what local network is. It's a house or TV or laptops, phones, printers. Those are local area devices in a house. Wide network is internet connection. Can you tell us what devices were connected? No, I just had the HP. They then show Exhibit 28, which again is print screens from when the witness was evaluating the Windows side of the computer evaluated this year. And on this picture, it shows that the background screensaver is a picture of the family. He then asks about the icons, and it's identified as the car software Fraser. Now, on Covenant Eyes login, to enable it, you have to type in a password. I don't think that's correct. So you have to log in. Okay, but that's deceptive. Yes, you log in, but it still runs 24/7. If I don't want Covenant Eyes on this computer, can I turn it off? No. It's not a subscription base. I'm sure they are a subscription base. How can you say that it has a subscription? There's then a minor answer that is concerning a supervisor versus user download. Do you know if Covenant Eyes runs no matter what? Yes, it runs. Then it asks for a password. Yes. What if I cancel my subscription? Then it would be going to the home screen. Then what? At this point, Judge Brooks suggests that it would be a good time for lunch. And with that, I'm going to end part 1 of day 3.